Takes a lot of knowledge and skill to be a professional photographer, a professional working commercial photographer. I'm sitting here with a very knowledgeable, skillful, working professional photographer, R.C. Rivera. We're in his San Francisco-based studio. R.C., you got a lot of gear around here, and you and I have had a lot of discussions about photography. R.C. is a vast font of knowledge about all things technical in photography. And I think a lot of people, if they could be in a room with you right now, a lot of people who are interested in commercial photography, what they would really want to know is, how do you find work? Where do clients come from? Understanding f-stops and shutter speeds are one thing, but where do you find a client?
How do you find work? Well, first off is I do recommend having a portfolio.
Okay.
And a website, for sure. I mean, that's how everybody finds everybody now.
And a portfolio is not something that you build and leave alone. You're still, as a successful working photographer, you still work on your portfolio.
I do, yeah. I occasionally, if I'm slow or if I'm not working, I try to give myself assignments. So if it's, like right now, it's January, the commercial photography world tends to get slow. So I give myself assignments to just, learn something new or just shoot, to keep things fresh.
With the idea of getting content that you can put in your portfolio.
Yeah. So basically, just it's important to. I think it's important to keep your work fresh. You might have something in there in your website that's been there for 3 or 4 years or more, and if clients are coming back to your website over and over again, I think it's important that you keep that up to date. And so I think it's a good thing to stay up to date as well. I think relevant, I guess.
How do you know what a good portfolio looks like?
That I don't know.
Have you studied other people's portfolios, or?
I have. I've compared my layouts, how people show their work, but I guess it's really subjective on what you think looks good. It's important to get other people's opinions. I hated that when I was, I'm a really bad person to get critique. But it's important to get other people's opinions on your work.
So here it is, January. Things are slow. Do you have something you're going to work on this month?
I do.
Aimed at your portfolio?
Yes. Next week I am shooting a beta fish and a beauty shot together. I'll show that later.
So this is model and makeup with fish.
Makeup. Yep, and fish.
It's good to have that in your portfolio, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay. And what are you hoping to learn from that?
I think it's in my work I try to do a lot of beauty photography and still life and product photography, but trying to make them kind of mesh together in your book, in my work is this is a learning experience, and how do I kind of relate them to each other.
Okay. All right, so I interrupted you there. You were listing off how does one get work, and you said the first thing is you got to have a good portfolio. So what else? That's not going to be the only thing.
Well, a lot of hitting the dirt. It's a lot of cold calling clients, emailing. There's no actual magic bullet that does it. You just have to keep calling, keep emailing. Marketing is good. Some people still do mailers and postcards. I occasionally do it. I do one big mailer a year that basically it's an accordion style postcard with a few select images, and because it's time intensive and it's costs a lot of money, I do it once a year. And social media is a big part of the business now. So as a commercial photographer, I think that you should have Instagram is a big part of how a lot of people get found, not hired, but just found. Facebook, and there's Twitter. I don't use Twitter personally for photography. And then there's a lot of what they call online source books for photographers now. So it's basically a collection of working commercial photographers, that it's a curated website of sorts of different kinds of work. And
you say you do a lot of cold calling. I think a lot of people are afraid of that because they worry they're going to offend somebody or that they're imposing or whatnot. How do you get up the nerve to make a cold call and say, you should hire me to take pictures for you?
I actually don't like it a lot.
Really?
Yeah, I hate doing it. I guess something to think about is a lot of people do it. and you're not the first person to do it. And it's like I said, it's just like applying for a job like over and over and over again. That's why I do other sorts of things to get a job, is because you rarely get a person who's, everybody's so busy these days. I rarely get an art director or a photo editor to be like, I have time to talk. No, it's usually it's usually a cold call, and if that doesn't work, you send them an email. If that doesn't work, you send them a postcard and then another email that says, hey, send you a postcard, and I'd love to see what you thought about it.
How are you finding people to address these different efforts, or how are you finding out who to call and who to email?
So back in the day, I used to do a lot of research on, like, for example, magazines used to be around, and you could just, like, okay, like I want to work for that magazine, call that magazine up. I like working with ad agencies, and so I look up advertising agencies where I am or where I'm going, and just see what type of work they're doing.
Okay.
And then I try to see if I can get somebody like an art director or a photo editor or a photo producer on the phone. There's also what they call lists, like email lists. There's a company called AdBase and Yodalist for commercial photographers, and it's a listing of ad agencies, in-house agencies for companies, and magazines that have information. They have information like photo producers, art directors, creative directors, and so on and so forth.
Okay, and you just go at them.
And go at it. We have a mail campaign, like an email blast.
Okay.
But like 20% of it survives and
Right.
gets saved.
You've been doing this for a while. How much of your business is repeat business that already knows you, and how much is new?
I would say 50%.
Really, 50-50?
50, yeah. 50% new clients and 50% repeat clients.
So what that says to me is you can't necessarily just build a client base and sit back and relax and wait for the work to come in. You've got to stay moving.
Yeah, you got to stay moving because there's so many photographers who want that same job that you're doing. So it's and more are coming.
You can't trust that the people you've worked for before will
Exactly.
want you
Yeah.
back.
If you have, I feel like you have to be relevant.
Yeah.
Things change so quick that you have to kind of adapt, and the only way to do that is you just keep doing it, keep practicing, keep producing content, and keep producing new work.
There are agents and representatives out there that will help you find work. You've been working with someone for, you said, about a year or so.
Yeah, I signed in with a new agent about a year ago, and it's not for everybody. I did it on my own for about 5 years before that. And that allowed me to learn how to do it. Like I actually, for myself, I enjoyed learning how to market myself and really kind of look at my work from a marketing standpoint on what sells and what doesn't, and I think that's important skill to have. And then it brings something to the table when you do get a rep, if you do want a rep, that I know what I'm doing. So,
what's the point? What made you decide to go get representation?
I got representation because I got a little too busy to start looking for new work. So I was shooting so much that I didn't have time to call new people or get new work. So I just I talked to a rep, and so she's in charge of doing that now.
Okay.
Not that I stopped marketing myself. It's
Right.
It's a partnership, so we both do it at the same time. Like the portfolio reviews, and I go to those portfolio reviews, and she goes to some, and I go to some. Yeah.
So a rep is going to take a cut of any work they find for you. So that's not a great choice for someone who's just starting out, because you'll effectively be making less money.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like you didn't make that jump until you were already had a good income coming in from the work you were finding on your own.
Mm-hmm. They take a cut, but if they're worth the amount of work they do is worth it, then I don't see a point of not doing it.
Yeah. For the person who's just starting out, do you think it's better to be a generalist with a broad portfolio of a lot of different things, or is it better to go an inch wide and a mile deep and really pick an area of expertise?
I'm not the right person to ask for this. I think it's there's two schools of going at it. I chose the path of generalist, and a lot of people actually don't like that. I've met
You mean a lot of clients?
a lot of clients don't like it. A lot of New York clients hate generalists because they think that you can't make up your mind or you don't have a specialty. But there's a lot of clients that like it as well. And especially nowadays where budgets are getting smaller and things move fast and, you know, like people shoot, you know, for Instagram or social media and everything moves so fast that they want people to be able to do both things.
Right.
They want people to do photo and video in the same production, or they want to do people and product in the same production. Obviously not everybody will do that, but it's becoming more apparent. Also, I did it because I became a generalist because of location. San Francisco didn't allow me to be a specialist at the time, so.
Okay. How much now is video part of your life as a photographer?
I would say 80% photography and 20% video.
But it has been something that you haven't been able to ignore it. You have had to embrace video and move in that direction.
Yeah, a lot of productions, you know, like the second question after the photography part of it is, do you shoot video or motion?
Just right off the bat.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're not, in that case, delivering finished edited pieces. You're just shooting video content to give to them that they can do whatever they want with.
It depends.
Really?
Sometimes they ask you if you direct or if you can take charge of the shoot, and then sometimes it's just content that they want a shot of this for video or something like that.
Right.
And you just give them. And sometimes they edit it in-house or hand it off.
Any one piece of advice you'd give to someone who's just starting out, something you wish someone had told you when you were just trying to find clients?
So yeah, I actually, one thing that I learned from a photographer was you need to keep practicing. You need to keep making new work to get hired, because I used to fall in love with a certain image and just like show that in showings and portfolio reviews all the time, and I had a hard time taking that work out and showing new work. And it's like, I fell in love with that work, and I just wanted to keep it in my portfolio book. What I learned was you need to stay relevant if you want to keep working. And like a working photographer, you need to adapt to new things and new trends, and not that you have to bend backwards to lose your style, but you just have to keep with the times, I guess.
In other words, you're saying you got to keep practicing.
Keep practicing, yeah.
Well, we're here at the Practicing Photographer, where the message is keep practicing. I keep telling you people this, and it's true. RC, thank you very much. We got more to discuss. We'll have RC back later in a future installment of the Practicing Photographer.